In 2018, Dubai gleamed like a jewel in the desert, a place where success stories were written in glass towers and luxury cars. Among its self-made millionaires was Imran Qureshi, a 42-year-old businessman whose name commanded both respect and envy. He owned Al Noor Developments, a construction company known for building lavish villas for wealthy clients and international investors. People admired him for his charm and generosity. He appeared in charity galas, sponsored school projects, and often donated large sums to mosques and orphanages. To outsiders, he was the perfect example of a man blessed with both wealth and integrity. His wife, Layla, was equally admired, elegant, quiet, and loyal. Together, they represented the image of a successful and charitable Dubai family, but behind Imran's carefully constructed reputation lay secrets he had guarded for years. Not far from the glittering skyline, in the older district of Dera, stood a modest convent surrounded by narrow lanes and whitewashed walls. Inside lived Sister Maria, a 27-year-old nun from the Philippines. She had come to Dubai 5 years earlier to serve at a Catholic mission that offered support to migrant workers and abandoned families. Despite her young age, Sister Maria had earned deep respect from the community for her kindness, discipline, and devotion. Her calm presence brought comfort to those who had lost their way in the fast-paced city. When the convent announced a new charity project to build housing for struggling workers, Imran Qureshi came forward as the main sponsor. He offered his company's resources free of charge and promised to complete the homes within a year. The nuns were overjoyed and believed it was an act of divine intervention. The partnership between Al Noor Developments and the convent quickly became public, earning Imran more praise in local media. To him, it was another opportunity to polish his image. For Sister Maria, it was a chance to finally provide safe homes for the people she had spent years helping. As the construction began, Sister Maria often visited the company's offices to check progress reports and expenses. She was meticulous and detail-oriented, always ensuring that every donation was properly accounted for. At first, Imran appreciated her commitment, but soon her questions began to make him uncomfortable. She noticed minor discrepancies in the financial statements, donations recorded under different names, invoices without proper signatures, and transfers made from Imran's personal bank accounts instead of his company's. When she asked about them, Imran brushed it off as routine adjustments. Still, something didn't feel right. Sister Maria had seen corruption before, but never from someone who pretended to be so generous. Her curiosity grew, though she kept her suspicions private. Late at night, she began reviewing every record she could find, determined to understand where the missing funds were going. To her, it wasn't just about money. It was about honesty and faith. She didn't realize that by questioning a powerful man's secrets, she had already stepped into a web of danger that would soon change both their lives forever. Sister Maria's quiet investigation deepened as weeks passed. She continued visiting the offices of Al Noor Developments, pretending to collect receipts and progress reports for the convent's files. Imran's employees were polite but cautious around her, aware that she had the businessman's attention. Late one afternoon, while waiting for a meeting that never happened, she noticed an unlocked cabinet in Imran's private office. Inside were several envelopes labeled with names she didn't recognize. Curiosity got the better of her. She pulled one out and saw copies of property papers, school receipts, and a family photo, a woman and 2 young children smiling in what looked like a park. The man beside them was unmistakable. It was Imran Qureshi. Her hands trembled as she studied the documents. The woman's name was Nadia Rahman, and the children's birth certificates listed Imran as their father. It wasn't an affair hidden in whispers, and it was a full, secret family. The realization hit her like a wave. She understood now why Imran had been transferring money from personal accounts and why some charity funds were missing. He was supporting 2 households, hiding his second life behind layers of business transactions and fake invoices. The moral image he showed the public was a mask, and she had just seen what lay behind it. Unsure of what to do, Sister Maria carefully photographed the documents with her small phone and returned them to their place. That night, she wrote everything in her journal, describing how her faith was being tested. She couldn't ignore the truth, but feared what might happen if she exposed him. The church had always taught her to protect the innocent and seek justice, but now that responsibility felt heavier than ever. Meanwhile, Imran began noticing small signs of disturbance. His assistant mentioned that Sister Maria had been visiting more often than necessary and asking about records she wasn't supposed to handle. When he checked his cabinet, he realized some papers had been slightly moved. Panic began to grow. Imran was a man who thrived on control, and now someone had stepped too close to his hidden life. The thought of his second family being exposed terrified him. His entire empire, his marriage, business contracts, and social image would crumble overnight. He began monitoring her discreetly, checking her visits and asking his driver to note where she went afterward. Each day, his fear grew into anger. Sister Maria, however, was unaware she was being watched. She continued documenting what she found, collecting copies of files and photos as proof. She even planned to speak with Imran privately, believing that if he confessed and corrected his wrongs, the matter could stay quiet. But Imran saw her intentions as a threat, not a blessing. In his mind, she was no longer a kind nun trying to help. She was a danger that could destroy everything he had built. And so, he began to plan a way to stop her before she could reveal his secret. The morning was warm and bright when Imran called the convent, asking to meet Sister Maria to discuss an important development about the charity housing project. His voice was calm, polite, and reassuring, giving no hint of the turmoil behind his words. He told her he wanted to visit a new construction site on the outskirts of Dubai, where he planned to expand the program and build more homes. For Sister Maria, this sounded like good news, a sign that her hard work was paying off. She agreed without hesitation, unaware that this meeting would lead to her disappearance. The site was located in an unfinished residential zone near Al Qudra Road, surrounded by desert and silence. It was a place where construction had paused months earlier due to permit delays, leaving behind skeletons of concrete structures and piles of sand. When Imran arrived first, he parked his white SUV near a half-built villa and waited. He had chosen this place carefully. There were no cameras, no workers, and no one who would hear anything over the wind. In his trunk were tools, a tarp, and a shovel left behind from previous work crews. Everything seemed normal, yet nothing about that day was innocent. When Sister Maria arrived, she stepped out of a taxi holding her small brown notebook, the one she always carried for notes. She greeted Imran politely, believing they were there to review the new land plots. He smiled faintly, guiding her around the structure, pointing to empty foundations as if discussing the project. But his mind was racing. Every word she had written, every document she had photographed was now a threat to him. The image he had built over 2 decades, the kind businessman, the devoted husband, the charitable soul, all of it could collapse if she spoke. They walked deeper into the construction area where the ground was uneven and littered with debris. There, away from the main road, Imran's composure began to crack. No one truly knows what happened next, only the evidence later told the story. It appeared that in a moment of anger or desperation, he decided to end the problem himself. Somewhere between fear and fury, the situation turned violent. Sister Maria never left that site alive. By evening, when she failed to return to the convent, her fellow nuns grew worried. She always came back before dusk for evening prayers. They tried calling her, but her phone went straight to voicemail. The taxi driver who dropped her off confirmed she had met a man there, matching Imran's description. Police were informed within hours, and a missing person report was filed. Imran acted quickly to cover his tracks. He deleted recent calls, cleaned his car thoroughly, and even made a large donation to the convent the next day, claiming he felt guilty for delaying the project. His display of concern fooled everyone at first. He appeared heartbroken during the search efforts, walking beside volunteers and promising rewards for any information. But deep beneath his calm exterior, he knew no one would find Sister Maria, because he had already made sure of it. Days turned into weeks, and the disappearance of Sister Maria became one of the most puzzling cases in Dubai. The police initially suspected she had left voluntarily, perhaps returning to her home country, but the nuns from her convent refused to believe it. They insisted she would never abandon her duties or disappear without informing anyone. Flyers were distributed, social media posts went viral, and even local news channels began covering the mystery. Imran remained calm in public, often seen offering emotional support to the convent, attending prayer services, and donating money for the search. His convincing grief made him look like a friend, not a suspect. But beneath his composed demeanor, cracks had started to form. The first real clue emerged when a construction guard came forward. He told investigators he had seen Imran's SUV parked near the abandoned site the same morning Sister Maria disappeared. At the time, he thought nothing of it since Imran's company had previously worked there. But after the news broke, the memory seemed important. Police followed up and began combing through the area. That's when they found something. A small silver pendant buried near a pile of sand, shaped like a cross with delicate engravings. The nuns immediately recognized it as belonging to Sister Maria. It had been a gift from her late mother, and she never took it off. The discovery shifted the case from a missing person investigation to a potential homicide. Forensics teams swept the site, collecting soil samples, tire tracks, and fibers. The results revealed traces of human blood beneath the sand near where the pendant was found. Although degraded by the heat, DNA tests later confirmed the blood matched Sister Maria. Investigators turned their attention to Imran Qureshi, who had now become the prime suspect. Detectives began to piece together the timeline of events. CCTV footage from nearby petrol stations placed Imran's SUV on Al Qudra Road on the morning of her disappearance. His car's GPS records, recovered through his vehicle's built-in tracker, showed he had spent over 2 hours near the abandoned site before returning home. When police searched his office, they found signs of tampering, a set of burned documents in his private incinerator, and traces of sand on his shoes. His assistant also admitted that Imran seemed unusually tense and paranoid after Sister Maria vanished. Under questioning, Imran denied everything. He claimed his visit to the site was purely for inspection and insisted he had no idea what happened to the nun. He even accused his competitors of planting evidence to ruin him. But when investigators examined Sister Maria's phone data recovered from the convent's backup system, they discovered deleted notes and messages referencing Imran's secret family and hidden bank records. The evidence began to close, in like a tightening net. Imran's public image started to collapse as rumors spread through Dubai's business circles. His wife Layla was questioned and appeared devastated when she learned about the existence of his other family. The story that had once seemed impossible was now undeniable. Imran Qureshi, the respected businessman, was no longer a symbol of success and charity. He had become the prime suspect in the disappearance of a young nun who had simply tried to reveal the truth. 2 months after Sister Maria's disappearance, the construction site that had once been forgotten was reopened for development. Workers arrived early in the morning, clearing the sand and debris that had been left untouched for weeks. Within hours, one of the laborers struck something unusual beneath the surface, a layer of fabric tangled in hardened soil. When they unearthed more, what they found sent shockwaves through the crew. It was a human body, partially wrapped in a nun's habit, preserved beneath layers of sand and heat. Authorities were called immediately, and within hours the site turned into a crime scene crowded with forensic teams, police officers, and reporters. DNA tests confirmed what many had feared. The remains belonged to Sister Maria. The final mystery had been solved, but the revelation was devastating. The discovery of her body made international headlines, with people across Dubai and abroad demanding justice. Investigators wasted no time connecting the evidence. The GPS data, the blood traces, the pendant, and now the body, every piece pointed to one man, Imran Qureshi. He was arrested at his home that same night in front of his wife and neighbors, his calm facade finally shattered. As police escorted him away, the illusion of the generous businessman disappeared forever. During the trial, prosecutors laid out a chilling narrative. They explained how Sister Maria had discovered Imran's hidden family and confronted him with what she knew. Fearing exposure, he lured her to the construction site under the pretense of discussing the charity project. There, in a fit of rage and desperation, he ended her life and buried her beneath the very ground his company had once built upon. The jury listened as forensic experts detailed the soil analysis, tool marks, and matching fibers found on Imran's gloves. The evidence was overwhelming, and despite his continued denial, the truth stood undeniable before the court. Imran's wife, Layla, attended every session in silence, her expression blank but her eyes filled with disbelief. She filed for divorce soon after his arrest and sold their mansion to move abroad with their children. His secret family, hidden for years in Sharjah, also came to light. Journalists uncovered that Imran had been supporting them with money taken from charity funds, ensuring they lived comfortably while maintaining his image of righteousness. The scandal destroyed his business empire, and his partners quickly distanced themselves. Al Noor developments collapsed within weeks, leaving hundreds unemployed. When the verdict was finally read, the courtroom was silent. Imran Qureshi was found guilty of premeditated murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. The judge called the crime a betrayal of faith, morality, and humanity. Outside the courthouse, hundreds gathered holding candles in memory of Sister Maria. The convent later established the Maria Foundation, a charity that continued her work, building homes for the poor and protecting women in vulnerable communities. Her story became a symbol of courage, a reminder that even in places of wealth and power, truth cannot stay buried forever. Imran's downfall served as a dark warning of how lies and greed can consume a man who once appeared untouchable. And though Sister Maria's life ended in tragedy, her legacy lived on, proving that light always finds a way to rise through the shadows of corruption.